is different, man. It is served different. It's dished up different. The fans are different. It's just different.
Well, Nuno Espirito and also Marquinhos, the owner, and then on Monday, the staff were going, oh, hang on, we need to rush this guy to hospital for surgery straight away.
And he says he's not like a great coach or anything phenomenal, you know, but he's learned so much here. And I do think that we've got a different texture, for a lack of a better word, in our football.
It was actually a war between India and Pakistan. And I think hundreds died in it, you know, missile.
The sports news. Streaming data free on the MTN network in South Africa. This is where Africa comes to play. Is a masterclass on your phone, online, and on demand at omniaudio.africa.
It's mayhem.
Not the sports news.
Wednesday morning, a really strange night last night with Pirates, saying goodbye to
Jose Ribeiro. I don't know what it was. Siempre Padre. I don't know what was on the long banner, but basically, thank you, Father, for you know what you've done over the last 3 years. I was a little underwhelmed by it, to be quite honest with you, and maybe that the club has something different that they're going to do, you know, privately. But it was sad to see him go. He doesn't want to say where he's going. He says it isn't right. He says wherever he is going, they should announce. He shouldn't be the one announcing. And then he made a bit of an oopsie and he says, when you're going to a better place. And then he retracted and he was like, I don't mean a better place. I just mean a better, you know, how do you come back from that? But
it's a bit like Trent Alexander-Arnold saying, I'm going to get real, man. Just going to get real, bro. Lots of stories. Bradley Wiggins, the former Tour de France winner, has admitted he had a cocaine problem for most of his retirement years. The Forest player, and remember that the owner and the manager had a big fight. They've had to put him in an induced coma because of his abdominal injuries.
Wow.
That's just strange. And with the IPL coming back on, what's going to happen with South Africa and the World Test Championship? Because the IPL has now been basically delayed. But SA are playing hardball. They say, no, we want our guys back. We want the Test guys back. But there's still like 4 or 5 South African players could be involved. And
Shukri Conrad also having a say there about Rabada's positive drug tests, and he's also just like, why is everybody making such a big deal about it? In not so many words.
Exactly. And then we're going to speaking to former Commonwealth Games medalist Geraldine Pillay about the relay champion sprinters. I mean, is this a golden age for South African sprinting? Is it is it a time when we think we could basically be gold medalists at the Olympics?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm feeling so. But then again, this is just me sitting from the couch having an opinion. But Akani Simbine also saying that if you take a look at the relay and how well they did, relays are all about camaraderie. And that's really what he credits the team effort to, for them doing so well.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, I was watching the baton handover, and it was spot on, perfect, boom, timing. And the age of the guys, I mean, Akeni Simbine is the oldest at 31, 32.
And that's not old.
The rest are 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So that's another 2 Olympics, 3 maybe, if you look at what Usain Bolt was doing. Usain Bolt was still going to 35,
so how do we
36.
stay on this trajectory, right?
Yeah.
If it is that we're starting like this now, how do we keep it going all the way so that, like you're saying, for the next 2 Olympics, we're coming out with gold there? And can we do it? And what needs to be done in order to do it? So all of that and more with Geraldine Pillay. She chats to us a little later on the show.
So Pirates won last night.
Woo! I think it was a nice send-off.
Yeah.
What was it? 3-0.
Yeah. Betway Premiership, absolutely smashed TS Galaxy. No, they were playing TS Galaxy. This way, Golden Arrows.
But Arrows also found themselves in a bit of a precarious position, taking a look at where they are on the log. It was a nice 3 points in the bag for Pirates, remember, because Sundowns just need that 1 point tonight.
Yeah.
And then they are the champions, and they're playing Chipper out in East London. It was supposed to be in PE. So we are seeing potential champions tonight, you know. That's going to be a game to watch. And like I said, I'm still sad that Jose Ribeiro, he says himself, you know, it's very unprecedented that a coach leaves.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, you know, you're coming in there with screeching tires. But it isn't even like the last game of the season. There's like, what, 4 more to go, 4 more to go.
It still strikes me as bizarre that they allowed that to actually take place. I mean, they just said, cheers, you're okay. You can go now, early.
You see, I'm still, I'm left wanting in terms of the why.
Yeah.
So why does he leave when it is only like 4 games to go? Why didn't you see the season through? That is not answered. But then again, the fans were there, right? Yeah. And he said, it's 3 years. It's a long time. It's time to move on. But he loves the club, the players, the fans. And he also just alluded to South African football being very different to, you know, what he's used to or what he has been exposed to. And he says he's not like a great coach or anything phenomenal, you know, but he's learned so much here. And I do think that we've got a different texture, for lack of a better word, in our football. It's different, you know.
Almost different.
The way it's run, it's different, you know. The fans are different. You're going to come with a loaf of bread and then dig it out and then, you know, cheer with it kind of thing. You're going to come with a tiger, a plush tiger, and that's going to be going in the stands. And you're going to come up with interesting sayings on little placards. And it is different, Kev. It is different.
I mean, do you think Liverpool or Chelsea have a Mama Joy?
No, you see, no, that's just it. It's just, it's got like, you can taste, feel, experience South African football. And not that I've like traveled the world and, you know, experienced it differently, maybe just in the UK, but it is different, man. It is served different. It's dished up different. The fans are different. It's just different.
Yeah. Well, I want to know if they're going to get a manager that looks like Kevin Fine again, because that is going to make... Because otherwise he can't walk into a Woolies and go, hello, can I get special parking? Can I walk in?
We should drop one of those pictures too.
Yeah, that's fan, exactly that.
Yeah, so now we wait to see who will. Mandla Nikazi takes over for the remaining games as the interim coach.
Sad news about this Nigerian striker who plays for Forest, Taiwo Awoniyi. He has been placed in an induced coma because after his recovery from urgent abdominal surgery. I don't know if you saw the incident where he basically was smashed into...
I don't want to see it.
He whacked into a goalpost. He was trying to score. His stomach hit the goalpost. They didn't... There was a bit of a scuffle on the after the match between Nuno Espirito and also Marquinhos, the owner. And then on Monday, the staff were going, oh, hang on. We need to rush this guy to hospital for surgery straight away. So,
at 27 years old, so an induced coma.
Yeah.
Do we know anything else?
That's it at the moment. They haven't released anything else. I think it's just a precautionary thing as well, because induced coma is basically just to make sure he doesn't move. And maybe he's had to have, in terms of surgery, like stitches in his abdominal muscles, and they're just trying to not let him move. So that'll just stop him.
To heal, I guess, before he does wake up. So we wish him a speedy recovery.
Cricket South Africa. They're hoping that they're going to get all their players back on. So the IPL obviously was postponed for a week because of the, and I say conflict, it was actually a war between India and Pakistan. And I think hundreds died in it, you know, missiles sent, now they've called a ceasefire. India saying the ceasefire may stand. Now the IPL is going to come back on again, but now this affects the World Test Championship.
So it's coming back on the 3rd of June.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
that's the final is going to be on the 3rd of June now.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's going to be an issue. So the final is later than before, but South Africa is saying, we want our players back by May 26th, because that's what we need to start preparing. Because now South Africa are now playing Zimbabwe in England in a warm-up game, a 4-day warm-up sort of test match, so to speak, and they want all their guys back. And there are, just looking at the names here.
So it's Rickleton,
Markram, Adam Markram,
Bosch, Ngidi, Janssen, Rabada.
I'm glad to see Corbin Bosch there. His father was Tertius Bosch, died at the age of 31, 33, I think, very young. And his ex-wife was accused of poisoning him. It's a weird situation. So Manyani made his test debut at the age of 30, plays for the Titans. First ball in test cricket at his home ground, gets a stick. And so I think he could be a big thing. But now
what's going to happen here, Kev? Because I'm a little stuck as to May 26th, June 3rd, and players need to come back.
Yeah. Well, they've got to come back, because whenever you sign a release waiver for the IPL, it's basically a contract between you and the BCCI. And because South African cricket gets money from that. So Cricket South Africa makes money from that contract. But now to get them... back, they said, well, no, hang on, but May 26th is when we want them back. we need these players back. We need to start building up for them. We need to start, basically drawing up a plan for what's going to be the biggest match in South African history this year. Basically, it's going to be, if we win the World Test Championship, we're finally world champions in cricket. And that's going to be it's massive. Yeah, and it's a big game. It's going to be at Lords, and everyone's going to be watching because it's Australia, South Africa. Australia now have given their players some leeway. So, well, if you want to go back to the IPL, you can, but we'd rather you stay with us. So
we're saying come back May 26th. Yeah, Australia saying if you want, you can. If not,
I think the Australians are taking it seriously. The English cricket board now have said to their players, "Listen, the IPL, we want you back. We've got a West Indies tour coming up. So if it interferes with that, it's too bad." So this is going to be a big showdown between the BCCI and other cricket unions, which I think is important and vital, given India's continuing and expanding influence over cricket worldwide.
Shukri Conrad also talking about Kagiso Rabada and what it is that has happened, and even likening him to, a naughty kid.
Yeah.
And if it is that you have a naughty kid, you do want to give them, some discipline of some sort that he wants to dole out. But he's been pretty outspoken about this.
Yeah, Shooks basically first said, "What the hell have you done?" And then his next thought was immediately said, "What support do you need from me?" And Shukri Conrad is that coach. So Shooks, I remember from years back at the Lions, at the Wanderers, great coach, doesn't take nonsense. Really, he'll give you a lip or two. He once told Stuart Hess that he's now banned from covering finals because every time Stuart Hess from the Star newspaper would cover a final, the Lions would lose.
Oh, so yeah, please.
But then when Stuart went overseas to cover the Proteas and I was roped in to cover the final, they'd win. So he says, "Sorry, Stu, you can't come. McCullum, you're in." I was their lucky charm.
Cute. But it is nice to see that, look, they haven't really cast him aside. Mistakes are mistakes. And I like what support do you need from me?
Well, exactly that. And also, Bavuma said, there's got to be an acceptance of what happened and the role he played in that. So there's an acceptance by KG Rabada. And then you've got to ask yourself, why did you find yourself in that situation? Is an underlying mental issue?
Isn't that what I raised the other day? It's like, is the pressure too much that you just needed some form of an escapism somewhere and this was it? So I just think there's so many stories inside the story. And I hope that KG actually, real, raw and relatable, like just spit it out. And I think so many people will be able to relate if it is that you just come out with the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yeah, well,
to help you guys.
And yeah, exactly that. I just put out a column on Substack, which will be up on the audio.africa site a bit later today, and basically says choose life, choose getting a life, choose letting KG Rabada have a life.
I agree.
That's exactly it. And I love the way Bavuma and them are going about this. We're going to stick with cocaine.
Oh, we are?
Bradley Wiggins. Well, apparently, according to report, that's what KG took, but
yes,
I don't really care. Yes. So Bradley Wiggins, after he retired, basically became a cocaine addict. He's lost every cent that he ever had. He was couch surfing, living with friends. His kids were worried that he was going to wake up dead. They wanted to put him into rehab. He said, "I was a functioning addict. People wouldn't realize I was high most of the time for many years." And I've been around addicts, and it's you don't know.
It's a sad story, but I mean, we also have a footballer right here in South Africa.
Yeah,
played overseas, came back, substance abuse, lost absolutely everything, and the club overseas put money together and actually bought him a house.
I do remember that. Who was that?
Yes, I'm trying to Google it now because my memory fails me.
Was it a Norwegian club, or was it? It was one of those sort of small countries like I don't know. Luxembourg, maybe something like that.
But yeah, it is sad, and there's many players. If you take a look at Lerato Chabangu, for example, as well, going down that road and that path.
Well, I know a lot of former athletes, particularly long-distance runners, and also cyclists. And I think it's particularly those sports that are really hard on the body, and they have they're not afraid of a drink or 15. And they're not afraid of putting substance in the body that they really shouldn't be putting into their body.
I mean, I come up with the name Junaid Hartley, but it's not the one that I'm looking for either. So,
But anyway, as soon as you find it, we'll just finish off with this. The father of Norwegian track and field superstar Jacob Ingebigsten should go to prison for 2 years, 2.5 years.
So is it over?
No, the case is now coming up. So the prosecutors asked for 2.5 years. This is for abusing his children, slapping his son around the head, his daughter, physical, mental, just psychological abuse. Absolute disgrace. And
so they're still in court?
Let's hope he gets the time. No, this is now the final wrap-up. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens in the next couple of days. We'll keep an eye on that. Coming up after the break, we're going to be speaking. Let's speak some positive stuff.
I agree.
The relay.
Nothing to do with any drugs whatsoever.
No.
It's, well, I want to say
don't. Coming up after the break, Geraldine Pillay will talk to us about the relay superstars that South Africa are growing and building.